Betamax. My name is Fidel, and I'm joined by Birdie.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, just cut me off like that.
Oh, my bad.
So on this episode, we're going to be discussing 3 TV shows that we recently saw. One of them is Love, Death, and Robots, The Night Of, and True Detective.
Mm-hmm.
2 very good shows, very different. Well,
3 very good shows.
Oh yeah. Three very good shows, and 2 of them are based around crime stuff.
We got 2 shows that are crime/noir stories, and then one that's a little out of left field. It's very, very far-fetched animation.
And that's the first one we're actually going to be talking about.
Yes.
And that show is called Love, Death, and Robots. It's on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, you can watch it anytime.
Yeah, this show is on Netflix right now. It's about, I'm going to say...
Well, it's an anthology series.
Yeah, it's an anthology series.
Each episode has its own dedicated topic that it covers.
There's about 18 episodes that are like short stories created by different people. This was actually curated and put together by Tim Miller. This is all Tim Miller is like everything like he put together is all Tim Miller. Like all the directors or writers. Executive produced by David Fincher, which is
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, one of my favorite directors like on the planet right now.
And for those who don't know who Tim Miller is, he's the guy that directed Deadpool.
Yeah.
And he's directing the upcoming Terminator.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about that guy, but everything he's been doing, I've been
enjoyable.
I've been satisfied with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this being executive produced by David Fincher definitely gave me interest.
Oh, definitely.
But not only like, because I mean, when David Fincher has his name on something, he definitely wants to be a part of it. He definitely wants to be, like hands-on and like around. Like hovering. Which is kind of the job of an executive producer. But I mean, when you have someone like David Fincher executive producing like your films, it's like, he's gonna make sure you don't fucking fuck up his name.
And this isn't the only show that he has his hand in, a Netflix show, because he also does Mindhunter.
Yeah, which you can totally tell, like.
Yeah, that's
like
totally...
David Fincher was around,
Yeah, that has his fingerprint all over it.
But yeah, this is about 18 episodes long, and
each episode is like 6 to 17 minutes long.
Yeah,
it's very short, easy to get through.
It all varies, but man, like the animation style, because this is all purely animation. I believe there's only one episode that has 2 live action actors in it.
Yeah, that's the one with Topher Grace and Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah, where they play like this couple that moved into this new apartment, and it's already like pre-furnished for them. They start looking in the freezer.
There's like a whole civilization.
Yeah, in there. There's like a whole like universe going on in there, and it's really cool because it's like.
Because they see like the evolution from like fucking the Ice Age, like all the Neanderthal shit, into like futuristic shit. They see like dinosaurs in there and shit.
Yeah, like they basically like they're in the eyes of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that episode is episode 16. It's called Ice Age. But
What did you think of the series overall?
I thought it was great, dude. Like as soon as I heard of it, and as soon as I saw the trailer, like as soon as I saw Tim Miller.
Yeah.
And then I saw the trailer, and then like the last thing I saw was like the executive producing credit to David Fincher. I was like, oh, I'm on board. I'm on board so bad. I don't think I've seen anything like this in a very long time.
Well, when I was like looking up stuff for it, I don't know if you know this, but it's actually a reimagining of an animated science fiction film called Heavy Metal.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, because I guess
Dude,
David
I was
Fincher...
super into that fucking shit when I was a kid, dude. Like, my brother like bought the VHSs when I was a kid, and like he would like, I mean, this is like like I was on my way to being a teenager, so I was already pretty curious about girls.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
yeah.
and if you look up like the heavy metal covers, like the animation films, like dude,
it's all like big breasted women.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all it looks fucking tight, like. But yeah, I remember seeing that, and I thought like oh, I'm gonna put this on. There's gonna be like hella boobies in there. But I mean, it doesn't really emphasize on that.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking dope though.
But yeah, I guess Fincher and Miller, they were supposed to be doing a reboot of Heavy Metal, and it was just in the developmental stage for so long. They ended up just doing this show. But and like for me, like I was never really into like animation, like or like these type of movies or like shows, like the whole anime stuff. Like
Yeah.
I was never really into all that. So I was kind of skeptical going into it. The only thing that was drawing me to it was the fact that Tim Miller and David Fincher were a part of it.
Yeah.
And once you showed me that very first episode, like, damn, I was sucked in, dude.
Yeah, cause I mean it's like no holds barred, dude. Like they don't hold back at all. Like
Yeah.
like these fucking like animated shorts are like. I feel like it's everything like someone who wants to make an animated short film. Like if there was like a casting call like from Tim Miller, like currently looking for like submissions for like an animated short, like dude,
Yeah.
that would be your fucking chance to like get gnarly with it and send it to them. Because I mean, obviously, not a lot of studios and not a lot of people are gonna be okay with like impaling a human being's face with like a fucking reptile's tail, you know?
Yeah.
And showing it so graphically, you know?
And like the twist at the end of that first episode was fucking tight.
Which was?
Do you remember?
Remind me.
'Cause like they're pretty much like from the concept of it was they transfer their consciousness into the beast, right? To the monster.
Yeah, because this is all like this first episode is called Sunny's Edge, and it's like the basic premise is like, you know, underground like fight club, but I
like,
mean
people have like their own monsters.
yeah,
and shit.
like they have like these creatures that like you don't know if like they were born or they were like created, but they use them as avatars, and like they transfer they wire themselves up and they transfer their consciousness onto this monster to control them, and like to create like to make them make every move like specifically, and like dude, like that sequence like where they're going at it is like gnarly.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic.
And it's pretty cool because like when it, like I mean you can see that in other films and other like shows, you know?
Yeah.
But I always like dude, every time I watched it, like when I started watching it, I was like, man, I always want to know what's like the perspective of the crowd.
Yeah.
And it did. It showed that. Like it even showed like some people getting hit.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I hate how the crowd never gets hit and there's like gnarly shit happening in front of them.
Yeah.
And in this one, like someone gets fucking like fucked up really bad, like in the crowd.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's what you get, dude. You know, it's like going to a show and like gonna go see like a power violence band. Like you, I mean, you want to get close, but if you're gonna get close, like prepare to like get fucked up, dude.
But yeah, like, do you remember the whole twist at the end?
What was the twist?
It was revealed that her consciousness was actually permanently in the monster.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
that the body of the human that whenever she would get
that
wired
was
up,
the avatar.
that was the avatar.
human was the avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that shit blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. And that episode I think is only like 15, 16 minutes long.
Yeah, it's short, and you feel like you just watched the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which is how you feel about all these.
Yeah, like that's what I loved about it.
Like,
Just like no matter how short or how long they were, like they did a good job of just telling a story, getting you invested, and ending it with satisfaction.
Yeah.
Like the only one I will say I wasn't really a big fan of was the farm one. I can't remember what it was called. You know what I'm talking about? With the invasion on the farm, and they have like these like big like mecha robots.
Yeah, that mechanized, like they have like mechanized suits that are all souped up.
Yeah,
and, like,
they're all like hillbilly farmers. Like
they're not hillbilly. they're more like I would say they're just farmers to me. Like, you know, like if you wanted to go find out like where your cow milk came from,
yeah,
like it'd definitely be those guys.
Yeah, but that was really the only episode that I felt kind of didn't really do much for me, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Do you have like a favorite episode?
What's your favorite actually? Because you just told me the one that you don't like, but I want to know your favorite.
My favorite, it's hard to decide just because they all are pretty good.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, but the episode that Fidel was just talking about was it's called Suits.
Suits, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But my favorites, I would have to say the first one, just because that's the one first, obviously the first one I saw,
Yeah.
and it just sucked me into the story so much.
Yeah.
But I also loved the the werewolf one, the with the guys in the army.
Uh huh.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that one was called Shapeshifters.
Shapeshifters.
Yeah, that one was actually like pretty intense.
Yes, that's why I liked it.
Yeah.
It was just so emotional and
And it really had this like this message that kind of is like relevant right now, like in because it takes place in Afghanistan, and it has to do with like these military like guys that are like camping out in a base, and they're trying to infiltrate like a certain enemy, trying to figure out like what's the best way we can like get these guys. And like it's cool because the message is like pretty relevant to what most of our troops go through right now, where it's like, you know, the whole if you're gay or bi or trans, it's kind of hard
yeah,
to get into that.
yeah.
And then once you get in, it's like really hard
Because they still
to
outcast you.
yeah, to not be like alienated or like made fun of, or just like
Yeah, because
nobody really wants to fuck with you because of what you're about, you know, or how you were born.
yeah, because
Which is like the premise of like these characters in this episode, because there's two characters in particular where
they're werewolves.
they're werewolves and they're different.
Yeah,
And you know their teammates are kind of like
talk shit to
yeah,
them. You know, they talk down to them.
they're not really nice to them, and they don't really care for them, and you know they treat them really expendable instead of as a unit,
Yeah,
you know. And I thought that was really cool that the creator of that episode did with that premise. That was like, you know, it doesn't really matter what I'm about. Like I'll have your back, you know.
yeah,
Because those guys end up having like all those dudes back.
yeah.
You know, like they end up like just like, dude, go ahead and make fun of me. I'm still gonna fucking like make sure you're alive. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like that one is definitely one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Well, what about you?
I think my least favorite one. Like I would say this. Like first of all, I want to say this show is like one of my favorite shows right now. Like I'm so glad that it got renewed for like a second season. I can't wait to see like
Yeah,
what new talent like Tim Miller brings into all this. Because I don't know if he's gonna stick with the same like creators, team of creators.
well,
Or
and I'm not sure if we mentioned this, but each episode is a different animation company.
yeah, and it's a different style. Like
Yeah,
that.
each animation style is completely
Yeah.
different in each episode.
Yeah, like I said, it's so cool that like Tim Miller just put all this together. Like you could tell like he hit up all these people and was like, oh man, I just want to have fun right now with like this animation. Because I mean, animation is so much fun. Like I I think it's a great genre of film to fuck with. Like
Yeah,
where you want to not be so bound to the ground. You know.
yeah,
Like if you want to go like all out, get crazy with it, like dude, make an animated film.
yeah,
Any kind of animated film, an anime film, a claymation film, like a CGI film. Like dude, like go crazy with it, because I mean, you can blow up the whole world in that shit, you know?
yeah.
And I mean, you could do that with like a live action film, you know? I mean, plenty of movies have done that,
It's just a lot more difficult.
but it's just like gnarly with it. But when you're doing an animated film, it's like there's so much you can do, dude. There's like no boundaries. Like whatever your imagination can come up with, like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like I said, sorry.
So your least favorite?
My least favorite, I want to say, is I would say the alternate universes one.
Oh, is that the one
The
where?
one with like it's like really funny.
The Hitler one?
Yeah. It's like a really, really funny one.
You know, yeah, I would have to say that one too.
Yeah, that one. It's called Alternate Histories, where like
It's just different ways of how Hitler
yeah, it's like
dies.
different way. Like it's not a shitty episode. It's just my least favorite one. Like it's definitely like the funniest one on the lineup to me. Um, but it's like alternate. Like there's like Hitler getting killed by like a bug. Hitler getting killed by like an asteroid.
Gets hit by a car.
Yeah, he gets hit by a car. Like dude, and like they look into how all of that affects history.
Yeah.
Which is like a really cool concept because I mean, that's such a really cool concept to me because in the history of our world right now, if any of that shit would have gone in a different direction, like we wouldn't be in this room right now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't even be on this piece of soil. You know?
Exactly.
Which is a really cool concept to make fun of and like just satirically put into animation because I mean even the animation style is like all like
it's pretty goofy.
They look like Wii characters or some shit. Like it's really funny. It's really cool. But I would say that one is my least favorite one. But that's not saying that it's like
it's not necessarily bad.
Yeah, that's definitely my least favorite. But my most favorite one would have to be Zima Blue.
Which one's that one?
This is the one with the artist that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the artist that.
In the pool.
Yeah, and like he.
Dude.
Like he's like it's just like even the animation style is like so like dude, it was my favorite one like for sure. The animation style.
I loved it.
The story, the concept, like the whole meta-ness of it. Like it was like fucking gnarly. Like dude, it made me feel really emotional.
Yeah,
it didn't make me cry or anything, but dude, at the end of the episode, I was definitely like in my room, like, oh shit, that's so cool.
And that one's also not that long either.
No, it's not.
I don't even think it hits 10 minutes.
No. Like, it's just, like, one linear story about this one artist who, like, is, like, this guy who has these monuments of, like, artistry, like, pieces, like, all over the world. And people, like, from all over the world, like, they travel to one spot just to see what he's making and what he's gonna make. And he's notorious for, like, not doing interviews.
Yeah.
And then one day in his life, he specifically asked for a specific person to interview him. Like he sends her a letter and he tells her, I want you to come to where I live and I want you to interview me. And like the whole story is from her perspective where like she's like traveling to like where he lives and like she gets there and he's like starting to explain to her like why he makes the decisions that he makes as far as like being so private. And he even goes through the process of how he came up with his art from like little like 12 by 12 canvases to like thousands of feet of buildings.
Yeah.
Becoming art that he has made. Yeah. And then he talks about his origins, about like, because everyone thinks like, this guy is so like inhuman and like on another level, and it ends up being that he is inhuman and on another level because of who he really is, which he reveals that he's not human. He's an android. But the origin of him is like, I started out as a pool cleaning machine with no brain. Only a chip, basically a brain that told me what to do, And his creator like added on through the generations of like going on, and like then he started adding on to himself and eventually became this humanoid person that became full of imagination and personality and sentient to the point where it was like where like my interpretation of it was like to the point where he was like, I can't go any further, so now I want to relax and just be what I was.
Yeah.
And then he becomes the pool cleaning machine again.
That was so good, dude.
Yeah, like that was my favorite episode. Like I think that episode is so beautiful in every way, artistically, like and metaphorically. It's like such a beautiful film.
Yeah, that one was really good. Another good one was the second episode.
Oh, Three Robots?
Three Robots.
Oh, dude, that shit was so tight.
It was so funny.
Dude, it was funny as fuck. Like those three robots were like.
The monotone one is so like.
Yeah, it's like a triangle, like a walking like a
It's
fucking.
it almost looked like the monolith almost from Space Odyssey if it was like a pyramid.
Yeah.
But like a fucking slim, like a long, tall pyramid.
Yeah.
But it was like acting like a tourist, you know, taking pictures of
Yeah.
shit.
It found a dead corpse and it was like smile.
Yeah. That one was really
That
funny.
one was really funny, dude.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good show. I think everybody should check it out, even if you're not into like anime or anything, or just like
Or any kind of animation at all. Cause
yeah,
I don't even think there's. I think there's like one episode that might be like close to
considered
anime.
like anime.
Yeah, which is called Good Hunting. I think that one might be close to that, but I mean, like I said, there's so many different variations of animations that they go through. I think the only thing they didn't really try here was claymation.
Yeah.
But everything else they kind of like touch on. Um, but yeah, there's so many different things in this show that I can't stress enough for everyone to check out because of how creative and original all this is.
Yeah, it's such good stories.
Yeah, which is like I think stuff like this needs to be supported more than whatever's going on in the theaters right now. Especially because of like I saw this picture recently like on Instagram where it was like someone took a picture of a film kiosk, like a billboard,
Mm-hmm.
and it had like Men in Black, Aladdin,
Oh,
Godzilla,
yeah.
and it was like, whoa, the 90s are back.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, really? Are we at that point right now where it's like, fuck,
Everything's getting recycled.
everything's like just so like I was saying, I can't stress enough to support stuff like this because I mean
Support original ideas.
I just can't. I like because I definitely don't fucking support like all the other shit that's going on. Like it's just, I don't know. It's time for some new stuff, dude.
Some original stuff.
Yeah.
Some new ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not only that, I mean, there's also like subtle like social commentary in each episode. Like the Three Robots episode, they kind of touch on the fact that we don't take care of this planet, pretty much. You know, we're the cause of its destruction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they kind of like.
Yeah, like all these episodes, like they're not just like let's have fun and like make animated explosions and decapitate people. Like if you look into these, like most of these have messages for people.
Definitely
messages of like equality and like self-awareness and like environmental awareness as well. Like it's like pretty in your face about it, which is cool. Which is like something people should be thinking about right now because I mean, be careful.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, definitely check it out. It's really good. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And season 2, I think, is coming out next year, maybe.
I'm not sure. I just found out recently that they renewed it for a second season, but I'm not sure about the release date.
Okay.
But this is on Netflix, so go check it out.
All right. So next show I want to talk about is a show that kind of just... This show blew me away. It's called The Night Of. It's on HBO. It's an 8-part limited series. It's actually a remake of a British TV show called Criminal Justice. Excuse me. And there's in April of this year, they actually remade it in India. So I was looking into it, and it was actually originally announced in 2012 with James Gandolfini set to star. He was going to be playing the lawyer in the show, which ended up being John Turturro's character.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was announced in 2012 with James Gandolfini, but HBO ended up deciding to pass on it in February of 2013, which was I guess they realized was a dumb decision because immediately, like a few months later, decided to go through with it after all. But Gandolfini ended up passing away in 2013.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
So they ended up getting Robert De Niro to take the role, but because of scheduling conflicts, he wasn't able to do it. So that's when they brought in John Turturro. But Gandolfini still ended up getting an executive producer credit on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And man, like I gotta say, like the show is incredible. It's basically what it's about is this young guy. He's trying to go to a party one night. His ride bailed on him,
Yeah,
so
like this guy. What's his name?
Nazir Khan,
Nasir Khan,
which
which
is
is
played
played
by
by
Riz Ahmed,
yeah Riz Ahmed, who,
who's in Rogue One. He was the
yeah.
pilot in Rogue One, and he's actually also a British rapper.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That's fucking weird. He was also a Nightcrawler,
Oh, that's right.
which
He
I think is
was.
like one of his. Besides this, it's one of his best performances. Like, fucking gnarly ever.
Well, so basically the plot is he's trying to go to this party. He's kind of like a shy kid. Like I
Yeah,
believe
like
he's
he's going to college.
yeah.
You know, he's like helping out the basketball team to like academically succeed. Like he's like an after school tutor, like a during school tutor. Like he's a really really smart kid.
Yeah.
Like super smart, but he's not lame. You know, like he's trying really hard not to be lame.
Yeah.
But this is definitely the guy you want on your team.
Yeah, so he's trying to get to this party. His ride bails on him. So he asks his dad, who's a taxi driver, if he could give him a ride, but he says no. He ends up taking the cab without his dad's permission.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's trying to find the location of the party, people are trying to get into the cab because he doesn't know how to turn on the out of service sign. So
Yeah.
people are trying to get rides. So he's able to kick a couple passengers off, but then this girl gets in, and he obviously finds an attraction to her.
Yeah.
So he gives her a ride. Anyways, like they end up hanging out. He doesn't go to the party. He ends up going back to her place.
Yeah. Like
They
it's a pretty weird situation.
yeah, and they they party back at her place, drinking, doing drugs,
Yeah.
all
Like
types of shit.
they're just like hanging out, but it's like gnarly hanging out. Cause
Yeah,
there's like pills and like
knife play.
knife play. Like
Yeah. Well, so he ends up waking up downstairs, the downstairs of part of her place, and goes upstairs to tell her goodbye because he's gonna go home. It's still the middle of the night, and he finds her dead. And just this first episode gave me so much fucking anxiety, dude, because he was making a lot of bad decisions, but it was understandable because he was in a state of panic. You know what I mean?
yeah, the way that cause dude, they make sure that you, the audience, are like in the back seat of whatever this guy's doing.
Yeah.
Like they make sure that you're hovering over him, and you're like
You're feeling what he's feeling.
this omnipotent surf like thing hovering over him, and you're just like trying to yell at him, being like, "Stop doing that
Yeah.
and do this." But all the decisions that he's making are like really wrong.
Yeah.
Like like it's a really fucked up situation.
But yeah, so he ends up getting arrested for something else. But
Yeah, but before all this happens, like the filmmakers of this first episode, they're putting hints out there for you. They're kind of putting things in your head where you're just kind of like,
they're like laying clues out.
yeah, where you're just kind of like, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yeah.
You know, they even emphasize on some of the characters, like, and
That
these
that they
these
interact
characters,
with.
these characters aren't main characters. Like, they're
Yeah.
just characters that Nasir Khan like interacts with, but they emphasize on their behavior towards
Their facial
towards
expressions.
Nas. Yeah, it's like, which makes you think like, what are you doing?
It makes you believe that they're going to be an important player later on in
Yeah,
the
like dude, everything matters.
show. Yes.
Like everything matters in this first episode because it's laying down the foundation of what's gonna happen to this one character, which is like, did he fucking do this, or did he not fucking do this? Who did it? Like, why did they do it?
How did they do
It
it?
becomes a whole mess. It's like trying to dig through an unorganized like area with no like clue what you're looking for
Exactly.
or how to look for it.
Yeah.
But you know you gotta find that shit or else you're fucked.
Yeah, because after that, the rest of the series, it pretty much focuses on his experience being in jail and his lawyer trying to find out and the detective's trying to find out.
The lawyer played by
John Turturro.
John Turturro.
They're just trying to find out like what happened,
Yeah.
because the lawyer believes him. He's like obviously like
cause,
has
cause
his back.
cause when Nasir first gets arrested, like it's weird, cause like everything, like I was saying, everything is so sloppy in this first episode, and I'm not saying like writing wise, or like I'm saying like
his actions.
They
were written that way.
Yeah, the actions of like not only him, but the cops, the
Yes,
detectives.
Definitely.
Like everything is so sloppy to the point where you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you getting paid to do this right now?
Well,
like, who the fuck hired you?
I would say it's almost justified just because of the setting. It's in the middle of the night. The cops that ended up catching them, they're trying to go home already. It's the end of their shift.
Yeah, like
so maybe they're just trying to rush through shit, you know?
Yeah, it's a very human.
Yes.
Like decision making process.
Yeah.
Because it's like I guarantee you, if I put you on a 12-hour shift, and that 11 and a half hour of your like work day, you're gonna make sure you go home at 12.
Yeah.
Which is like what these cops were doing. And then, like, the panic of Nas. And then the ignorance of the detectives, you know? And then the curiosity of John Turturro's character. Like, all that mixed together in that first episode is like, oh, man, by the time the fucking credits started rolling, like, my palms were fucking sweaty, dude. Like, I was ready to fucking go take a walk outside. Like, I was just like, what the fuck?
I needed a cigarette, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was like, holy shit, this is fucked up.
But yeah, like throughout the series, it just highlights how the prosecution, like the criminal justice system, is unfair, and it makes a point of that in the show.
Yeah, which I think this was the reason for the creation. My interpretation, of course, this is the reason for the creation of the Night of.
Oh, definitely.
Is to emphasize the criminal justice system, you know, due process, and like, you know, a jury, and like everything that goes behind the scenes of like your actions in America, you know, as far as like what you did wrong and how people treat it. Like, to me, this is the reason for this show.
Yeah.
To show not only like how it affects you, but how it affects the people around you, the people who love you, the people who care about you, the people who are fucking fighting for you. It's like,
dude, his dad, dude.
Yeah, like, dude, his parents.
His mom taking on all those jobs.
Like, dude, like, this is, like, an Indian American family that, like, obviously wasn't born here, but they came here for opportunity. And, like, being, like, an Indian American family in the age right now, the state of America, you know, like, as of right now, it's, like, fucking bad. Like, if your skin's brown, like, you're gonna have a hard time, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like a minority, like, it's just gonna be bad. Like, I mean, people in general have to try hard. Like, it doesn't matter like your skin color, but unfortunately, the reality of things is like, I mean, if you're a person like
of color,
it's like you're unfortunately gonna have to try harder than the guy before you. You know?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like I said, that's the way it is right now, and that's the setting that they put these characters in. You know, it's like, it's set in like New York, and New York is like known as that fucking rat hole, you know?
Yeah.
Of like where everyone's just not nice. And could you imagine being of that background and being in the middle of all that? Being related to someone who just got accused of rape and murder.
Yeah.
You know, no one's gonna want that around. No one's gonna want to be your neighbor. No one's gonna want to be your friend. No one's gonna want to hire you. Like, it's so bad. And these characters are put to the test to see how long they stick with Nasir Khan, their son, their friend, you know, their client. You know, it's like, it's gnarly. It gets to the point where even you, as a viewer, are questioning yourself for why are you even rooting for this guy at one point, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, which is the genius of the creators of this. It's like the writers. It's like they make you they make you fucking like check yourself, dude. Like, they make you like second guess yourself to the point where it's like even you feel bad for saying that, for thinking the things that you do for this like fictionalized character, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, the way this goes down, and the way everything gets put together, it's such a roller coaster ride. It's such a wake up call. Like it's like I truly believe The Night Of is one of the greatest HBO's like put out in a very long time. It's definitely one of my favorites.
And yeah, definitely, dude. And like just the display of how he's treated and his experience in prison.
Yeah, like the transformation.
Like when he goes in, he's like such a shut in, shy like kid, you know.
Yeah.
And like by the end of it, it's just like, who is this
Yeah,
criminal?
like
They created a criminal.
yeah, like like I said, it gets to the point where you just kind of like, dude, I'm glad you're okay, but
At what cost, dude?
at what cost? You know, like you're definitely not the kid I knew. You know?
Yeah.
It's sad, you know. It definitely rips on your heart because it's like you didn't deserve this, but unfortunately, this is how things work. You know.
And like even from the beginning, the detective Box, you can see he has some doubt that it's even him.
Yeah, like oh, dude, that character to me is like to me, I was like behind him, like feeling so attached to that guy.
To the detective?
Yeah, because like I felt every decision that he made, because it was like at first he's just like, I feel sympathy for you, and then like he kind of goes back and forth. He's like, and like he gets to the point where he's kind of like, I want this to be over with. I don't care if it wasn't you, it was you, you know, like, and then like it goes back again where he's just kind of like no, this isn't fair. This wasn't your fault. Now I need to find out who did it.
Yeah, and like he starts getting like evidence and he starts putting pieces together and
Yeah.
he ends up getting a suspect and he brings it to, do you remember, to the prosecutor?
Yeah, cuz like
And she's like
the people that are fighting for Nasir Khan, and it's like his innocence, and like the detective doing his job, like everyone going, like being out of the cell and like trying to get this kid out is like putting all the pieces together, and then this detective, you know, decides to go the extra mile and finds out.
Because he was officially retired by this point, right?
Yeah, like this was his last case, dude. Like he didn't even want this case. Like in the beginning, remember they were like he was just trying to give it to someone.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, I don't want this, dude. I'm literally gonna retire in 30 days. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
But he takes it on, and it ends up being like a defining moment for him, where it's like, I think I'm not done.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be done, you know? And then like, dude, like that scene you just brought up right now, where like he finds out, like he truly believes, like it finally sticks in his head that he's just like, this isn't him.
Yeah.
This isn't the kid. This isn't the one. He's innocent. I think I know. I'm 95%, and that 5% needs to be confirmed.
Yeah.
But he brings it up to like this fucking like, I'm gonna say what, like her character was she was the city of New York, I think the representative.
She was the prosecuting attorney.
Yeah, and like, dude, he brings it up to her, and like, oh man, that scene made me so sad, where he's like explaining to her like, look, this is why I know this is not the guy, and this is why I know it's this guy.
But she didn't care.
But she gave no fucks. She threw it back in his face.
She basically said, we're almost done with the trial.
Yeah, she basically was like, but we already have enough on this guy. You're telling me to start over, and I do not want to start over because I want my day to be over. Too bad, so sad.
That was so heartbreaking, dude.
It's him. You know, like, oh man, that shit was like,
fuck you.
Yeah, like I was like, but the fact that this isn't like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like decisions like that get made.
Yeah. That's what was so heartbreaking about it.
Yeah. Because it's like,
can you imagine how many people experience this in real life?
Yeah, where the point where there's some fucking asshole sitting at a desk who's gonna be like,
deciding their freedom.
I know it wasn't you, but dude, I want to go home. So it was you.
That's fucked up, dude.
Yeah. But dude, that fucking scene like ripped my fucking heart out. Like it was so bad.
And I know usually we talk spoilers and stuff, and we have pretty much revealed a lot of stuff, but I don't want to talk about how it ends because I want people to check it out, and I want them to experience the ending for themselves.
Yeah, cause the way this ends,
is another way, a
it's
truthful way of ending.
it's a pretty, I would say, it's a pretty ambiguous ending to the point where it still leaves the question of who the fuck did this.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a pretty ambiguous ending where it's like, it's almost Kubrick in a way where it's just like, I'm gonna end it right here, everything's fine, but I know you still have many questions that I am not gonna answer, and I want you to answer them for yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, which is like the type of filmmaking that I fucking love, because it's like, you know, I want to make a film, I want to make a show, or I'm gonna lay everything out for you. It's up to you to think. I'm not gonna spoon feed you all these facts. I want you to put it together. That's how I think. That's how I feel about the ending.
Yeah.
You know, which is like the most respectful and best way to make an ending, as far as like a filmmaker.
Especially this type of show, like the whole like criminal justice shit.
Yeah.
But man, what a show! Like, it blew me away, man.
Yeah, this show came out like what, 4 or 5 years ago? 2014.
I believe so. Yeah, like 2014, around there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on HBO. You can stream the whole series. It's only one season. There's been talk of a second season, but I mean, I haven't really heard anything.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not also. Or if anything, they go the True Detective route.
Yeah, where it's just like
different stories.
Yeah, the same,
Yeah.
Same world.
And I guess use that as a segue into the next show that we want to talk about.
Yeah, but before we do that, make sure you watch The Night Of. Like, make sure you watch that one too, because, man, I'm probably going to say this about the next show, like I did the last show, but I can't stress enough on how you should support shit like that. Because it is the truth.
But yeah, so the next show is the critically acclaimed True Detective.
And
we're gonna talk about all 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So, True Detective. What did you think of it? First season. I want to know your overall thoughts before we dive into it.
Yeah. Before I do that though, True Detective is another crime, super noir like story. I would say it's definitely an anthology series.
Yeah.
Given that all 3 of these seasons are based on different like crime stories and like situations, different characters, but they do make it like a thing where it's like, this is taking place in the same world.
Is the second season also? I think, because I know there's a connection with the third season.
Yeah.
But I don't remember there even mentioning anything in season 2.
Yeah, I don't think they mention anything, but me as a viewer, I just assume anyways. Just because, it makes it easier for me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is another crime noir story where the main characters of each season are always a pair of detectives, these 2 detectives, and it's always like these 2 guys that are like complete opposites.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they either have that respect for each other or they learn to respect each other. But this is another show that's in that genre of like filmmaking of crime.
It's a crime. I would say it's a crime thriller.
Yeah, but since we're talking about the first season, starring Woody Harrelson. My bad. Woody Harrelson. And
Mr.
Matthew
McConaughey.
Yeah, which is like, dude, that motherfucker's gnarly. And like, they play both the main characters, both the main detectives who are investigating this
They find a dead girl.
Yeah, they find this dead body, but it's like
It almost looks like it was like a ritualistic type death.
yeah, which obviously makes it gives a purpose to their job where they're just like, now I have to find out what happened.
Yeah.
You know. But what I thought of this first season, I thought it was monumental.
Yeah.
I thought it was a piece of TV history in the making. I put this right next to Breaking Bad. I put this right next to even like the X-Files, because to me the X-Files is like another
Yeah.
like another like pillar of like TV shows. But I put this right up there with like TV shows that like raise the bar and like surprise you with the fact that like I didn't know that telling a story can be so goddamn intriguing. Like it's fucking gnarly. But the writing in this is phenomenal.
Oh my god, the writing.
Yeah, the writing in this is fucking phenomenal. The amount of like interactions and like character development is so gnarly in here. Like it's crazy. And the way they put it together too, because this first season, it's actually like 3 timelines, right?
Yeah.
It's one where they're retired,
Mm-hmm.
and one where they're like kind of fresh rookies.
Like when they first met.
Yeah. And then the middle where they're kind of like it's done, but they're still kind of doing their thing.
Yeah.
You know, which is like an interesting way to make a story happen, because it can be a little confusing for some people.
And I think they did a good job of like distinguishing that what timeline you're in without having to put like 5 years ago or 5 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because by the way that they look, like the makeup that they use, like on Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson,
Yeah, and
the way that they were dressing,
and even their behavior. Because I mean,
yeah,
even like, I mean, like these characters are they have a certain point of view on the world, and that's really emphasized in the dialogue that they give each other. Because you have this guy, Matthew McConaughey's character,
Rust.
Yeah, Rust, who's like this guy who gives no fucks about religion. Like he gives no fucks about like what you think. Like,
would you say he's a bit nihilistic?
Yeah, definitely. Because like, man, like like the way he looks into things in detail is like the way you want someone who has that job title to do it, because you know he's gonna make sure it's the right thing, it's the right one.
Definitely.
But his view on the world is very like nihilistic and like no hope.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to help you. Like I the only reason I'm helping you is not because I'm a good person, but it's because I truly believe that I need to find out what is going on.
Yeah.
You know? And then you have Woody Harrelson's character, who's like on the opposite spectrum, where it's like
the God-fearing family man who was like, also like an adulterer.
Yeah, which is like, you know,
like if you really look at it, these two guys, they're not very likable characters.
They're not. Like, cause dude, like if I ran into these guys in real life and I was their coworkers, like, oh my gosh, I would fucking hate them, dude.
Yeah.
Like I would not want to be around them. But like these two characters bundled up together to investigate the death of a girl and uncover why this was done to her. Like, what a good team.
Oh, definitely, man.
You know, like that's the kind of team you want to make.
And like they do a good job of portraying the fact that they don't like each other, but they respect each other enough that they understand that them working together is what the best option to get this job done.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I just can't stress enough on how good the performances were from both Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, the way they delivered everything on the screen, the way they handled like the dialogue that was written for them, was more than like you could ask for as like from a filmmaker to an actor.
Yeah.
You know, to put on the screen. They really embodied these characters and like the mythos behind like what they're about, to investigate all this. And like, man, it like in a way it becomes philosophical because of like the dialogue that they give each other, you know.
Yeah.
Where it gets to the point where it's like it tests their I'm gonna say their undercover friendship, because I feel like they don't realize that they're becoming friends.
Oh yeah.
You know, they don't realize that, like, dude, I hate you so much, but on the inside, like, their subconscious is like, I need him.
Yeah.
I need him to be my partner.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to be my partner, you know, like.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, like, it's a very, like, intriguing way to, like, treat two characters, to, like, bundle them up together to the point where it's like they become attached to the hip and they know they can't succeed without each other. And, like, the dialogue, like, some of it even gets funny.
Yeah.
You know, where they're in the car and, like, Woody Harrelson's like, you do me a favor and stop fucking saying weird shit. And Matthew McConaughey's like, he just stays silent. And then he asks him, was like, he asked him something about his sleep.
Oh, he goes, did
like,
you get any sleep last night?
Yeah, he's like, I don't sleep. I just dream. And I was like,
the look he gives him.
The look he's like, dude, I'm gonna fuck you up so bad right now. You're so annoying.
That's one of my favorite lines, dude. It's so good.
But then you have these other ones where, like, they just, like, they pick at each other, and it's so subtle, because it's like, how far can I get inside of you? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, the story for all this, investigating who murdered this girl, it ends up being someone who was right under their nose the whole time.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, but also they uncover something else big that has to do with city officials.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a pedophile ring that gets discovered, and like I'm gonna say, like, a different type of religion that's been discovered between people who think that they're doing something right by killing these people a certain way and leaving things around.
Yeah.
You know, and the ambiguity towards each character's actions is something like that for me was made a point in each episode, because there's even a moment where, you know, they kind of start to turn on each other.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, especially with Matthew McConaughey's character being so unstable with his drug addiction and alcoholism, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he ends up, like, fucking his partner's wife, you know.
But I mean, that's after she finds out that Woody Harrelson was, like, cheating on her with, like,
yeah,
a bunch of different women.
Woody Harrelson's a pretty horny dude. You know? Like, he's the embodiment of what it's like to be a human being with urges that can't be controlled.
Yeah,
you know,
he has no self-control.
Yeah, to where Matthew McConaughey's, like, opposite to Woody Harrelson's is, like, complete control.
Yeah.
Of even his emotional, like, his emotional spectrum, where it's like, you'll never know if he's happy.
Yeah.
Only he'll know.
Yeah.
You know? Like, like, if he tells you, like, dude, my favorite in the world is chocolate cake. And you'll give him a chocolate cake and he will have the same face.
Yeah.
You will never know if that guy's happy.
Yeah.
Where, like, Woody Harrelson's on the opposite, like I said.
He displays his emotions.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that tracking shot.
Oh, the shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah. The cinematography for this show is, like, crazy too. But, like, in this particular sequence where they're kind of investigating further into the origins of, like, this sort of cult that is, like, for some reason not in the picture and no one knows, but it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know? And they end up finding these, like, drug peddlers, and that's like a motorcycle gang. And, like, we end up finding out that Matthew McConaughey's actually been, like,
he used to be undercover.
Yeah, he used to be undercover, but he's not. But he still kind of kept the source around, so he can hop in and out, which he ends up doing. But, like, dude, when he like does this with them, because they end up doing, like, a home invasion to score on some drugs and shit, and it ends up going really, really bad. But this
really bad.
This whole sequence is one shot, and it's so good, dude, to the point where it's like it's like one of those scenes where like it's like one of those films. I love asking this question, and I like, dude, if I ask this question while I'm watching a show or a movie, it's a monument. And it's this one. How did you film that?
Exactly.
Like, how did you do that? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this camera is going in and out of walls, over railings, like under, like everywhere. Like, dude, whoever was in charge that day, whoever like scripted that, like, dude, like, I praise you because of how gnarly that was set up. Like, dude, that scene, like, I was holding onto my pillow, man. Like, I was just like, someone's gonna fucking die, dude. Like, but that scene is like, oh my gosh, it's such a phenomenal scene.
Yeah, and like when other films or other TV shows do like similar shots to this, they usually have their tricks, like where they go into like a hallway that's pitch black, and that's obviously where they do the cut.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
none of that in this.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in shot. Everything is in view. There's no way they could have like said cut and then like regrouped and came back to the exact same position to continue. This was definitely all one shot.
Yeah.
And it was just so mind blowing on just how the fuck did they even do this shit?
Yeah.
It was crazy to me.
Super gnarly.
But yeah, like this first season is incredible. Like they came out with a fucking bang when they released this first season.
Yeah, and I feel like 80% of like that being the reason is because of Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, definitely, man. Because I mean, they're also executive producers of the show.
Yeah, like even on the rest of the
seasons. Yeah,
even
too. On the rest of the seasons.
Like, dude, they're around.
Yeah.
And they know what they want, And it's like, dude, the way this ended, like that last episode to me was like, like to me, I call it the conversation with God.
Yeah.
Because of like when they're outside the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, when it's the point where it's like, now you can take a breather, and they're talking to each other, and they're looking up at the stars, and they're like talking about, like the decisions that they've made and how far they've come and like what they've done. And like I call it the conversation to God because of like the way they speak to the cosmos.
Yeah.
And the way they look up and the way they realize that, like, dude.
And the sky looks so bright in that scene.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Whenever they had like a night shot, it was always pretty like pitch black the sky, but this final shot, like with the sky, you could see like the stars.
Yeah.
It was almost like of saying like, it's finally like a breather, finally like some light is being shed.
And like to me, like the best thing about that last episode, the very best thing that made me smile was the realization between Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson of like, dude, you're my brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 25 years in the making, and now I know.
All the shit they went through.
Yeah, like that you're my guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're my fucking brother, dude. Like, that shit made me smile.
That shit, it was good, man.
Yeah.
It was good.
Like, the way they ended this was like, it couldn't be more of a perfect ending for the first season.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of how much, like, I enjoyed this season and just the acclaim it received, all the recognition it got, like, of just how great it was, I was super excited when they announced the second season. Yeah. And like even with the cast, like they announced Taylor Kitsch, Colin Farrell, Vince Vaughn, and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
And I mean, at first I was like, Vince Vaughn, that's kind of an interesting choice to me because I mostly knew him for comedy, so I never really saw a lot of stuff where he was like a dramatic actor.
Yeah.
So I was super excited for the second season. What did you think of the second season when you finally saw it?
I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a really great season. But I have a lot of things that I don't like. which is exactly how I didn't feel about the first season.
Yeah.
But this second season is not terrible. Like, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely not True Detective,
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the reception it was getting was negative. A lot of
Yeah.
people were calling it garbage. It was terrible, and I mean, upon first view, because I've watched it twice already. First time I watched it, I also, I guess you could say, was in that same camp where I was like, man, this sucked. Like, I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But going back, revisiting it, watching it a second time, it's a great show. It was a great season. But I don't think it's deserving of the True Detective name.
Yeah.
It's a great crime thriller.
Yeah, but like I said, it definitely has its flaws.
Yeah.
And those flaws, unfortunately, aren't small. They're you're not able to like overlook them or ignore them because they're pretty in your face. You know, the fact that like it's really hard to kind of back these three main characters up.
Four.
Four, my bad.
Yeah.
Cause it's like I can't tell if you're a piece of shit or not, dude. You know?
Yeah, everybody's pretty much, well, except for Taylor Kitsch, they kind of made him out to be like the saint, in a way. You know, like he gets in trouble. He gets accused of fucking soliciting a blowjob
Yeah.
from a poor, which he didn't do. You know, and he's like secretly living a life of being a homosexual. Like, so they're trying to like make him out to be like the good guy of these group of people.
Yeah. To me, it was just really hard to like catch up.
Yeah.
You know, it was really hard to like figure out like who was doing what and like what was happening, why it was happening, because the writing was everywhere to me.
Yeah.
Like the actions of like these characters were very questionable, but it was really hard to follow.
Like in my opinion, I feel like they tried a little too hard with Rachel McAdams' character. Like I feel like they tried too hard to make her seem like a tortured soul, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, in my opinion, she's a great actress, but there just wasn't anything that was just catching my attention in a way where I'm like, damn, this is so good.
Yeah.
It was more of just like, that's too much. Like you need to chill a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think if I felt invested in any of these characters, it would have to be Colin Farrell.
Oh, definitely.
Like his struggle was such.
He did such a great job of playing a burnout cop.
Yeah, because I mean, dude, this guy's like over everything. Like, he's just over it, and he's so angry. He's such a fucking pissed off person.
I loved the whole story between him and Vince Vaughn. Their whole dynamic, I loved.
Yeah,
I felt like that was like the strongest part of that series.
Maybe if they just would have like kept Vince Vaughn and Colin Farrell and not Rachel McAdams and Taylor, whatever his last name is.
Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah, like I feel like if they would have just omitted those other two characters, it would have been it would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way because I even thought about that. I was like, they should have just omitted completely Taylor Kitsch's character, and because Rachel McAdams, she does play some key parts, but maybe limit her role in the show instead of making her a main character, maybe just like a side character.
I think they should have just combined those two characters together.
Taylor Kitsch and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, like
you know what? Yeah,
they should have just combined them and like just made it a third character that kind of supported Colin Farrell's character.
Yeah. Definitely, man.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been a better idea.
But yeah, like rewatching it the second time, the one thing I loved was okay, so the way the relationship started with Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn is pretty tragic. Because Colin Farrell's after someone who
raped his wife.
And then she ended up having a baby, but they weren't sure if he was the dad or not.
Yeah.
If it was him or if it was the rapist.
And Colin Farrell's whole thing is like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because I want him to be mine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want someone to tell me this is not my son. Because he loves his son, dude.
Yeah, he does.
Like, dude, and you could tell, like, his son loves him so bad, but his son knows that he's bad.
Yeah, he's a bad influence.
Yeah, like, his son knows, like dude, I love you so much.
But
you're my dad, but I can't have you around me, dude.
And, like, the reason that Colin Farrell is like that is just because he's carrying on that baggage of what he did.
Yeah.
And, like, what I'm talking about is he asks Will Ferrell or Vince Vaughn's character for help, and they locate who they believe is the person that raped his wife.
Yeah.
And he gives Colin Farrell the information, and Colin Farrell ends up killing the guy.
Yeah.
They don't show any of this, but they heavily imply that that's what he did.
Yeah.
As the series goes on, or as the season goes on, it's revealed that that guy wasn't the guy who did it, because the police end up catching the person who did it. And Colin Farrell is just like, holy shit. And he ends up believing that Vince Vaughn set him up, that he just used him to take care of
Yeah.
So what I loved what they did with that is it was revealed that Vince Vaughn didn't know, that Vince Vaughn actually believed that he was giving him the correct information.
Yeah.
I loved that they did that.
Me too.
Because they could have easily just been like, yeah, Vince Vaughn was just using him. But no, he was actually being sincere in giving him information that he believed to be true.
Yeah.
I love that they did that with
Which is
with
like cool, because I feel like all these characters, like at the end of the season, it's like, because in the beginning they're just pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the season, like, it's like they're not. They end up going through these things that make them look at the world a different way and realize things that it's like, you know, it's okay to love, basically.
Yeah.
Know? Which is like Rachel McAdams thing, and like Colin Farrell like wanting to like just start over and help his family start over without him too, and then Vince Vaughn wanting to do the same, you know. With the company that he's basically built on his own, and with his wife, like, which was cool. I really dig that. But like I said,
it was definitely a step down.
Yeah.
In quality.
Yeah, there was definitely.
But see, that also says something about the first season, because it was a great season. It was a great show, a standalone show. It was good.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable, you know, entertaining. But because the first season was so good, it almost makes you look at this like, damn, this was bad.
Yeah. Which like sucks about, you know, making a follow-up to such a monumental thing that you've created, because it's so unavoidable for people to be like, I'm going to compare it to the last one, and if it's not that good, I'm totally going to discredit you.
Especially in this like internet outrage culture.
Yeah, it's like, it's such a hard thing to do. It's such, I hate it.
Yeah.
But I would admit that it's hard for me not to do that too.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's only human. It's a human response to it, you know.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to be critical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, after the second viewing overall, I loved it. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, it's just, to me, it's not True Detective.
Yeah.
But I do want to praise Vince Vaughn's performance in this, because in my opinion, he gave the strongest performance in this season.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Like his especially his death scene, I was like,
yeah, dude.
Whoa, like where he's just basically confronting everything that he's ever like not wanted to confront in his life.
Yeah.
It's like his wife, his dad, you know, like everything coming together, and like he's at peace at the end.
And that's another thing I want to commend on the show, is that they basically kill everyone off. The only one that survives is Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, not a lot of shows do that with their main characters.
Yeah. Which was cool.
Yeah.
Because I like when main characters die. I do. I feel like it's such a cool thing to do, because I feel like it's really hard to make a sequel to things like that.
We didn't even just like talk about what the main story of the show is.
Damn, we fucked up.
Basically, they're looking for a missing, is he a councilman? Something like that.
He's like an accountant.
No, I think he's like a councilman or something.
Yeah?
Something in like
He's
local government.
He's basically like Vince Vaughn's like
money guy.
Well, and when you have your money guy disappear, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Especially when you're like on the cusp of this land deal.
Yeah.
So he goes missing, and in the first episode, Taylor Kitsch is the one to find him.
Yeah.
But he finds him with his eyes missing, right?
Yeah.
So he's dead. So the whole series is they're trying to find out what happened to this guy. Like, who did this? Why did they do it? And then, I mean, Vince Vaughn's motivation is he wants his fucking money back.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Because he basically gave all his
Yeah.
money to this guy.
And they basically end up appointing all three of these guys. All three of these,
Yeah.
like.
They all end up working the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
They don't really have a choice.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I would say still watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, don't ignore it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going through this True Detective show, save it for first.
I would say watch it first.
Yeah.
Watch season 2 first.
Yeah, watch it first, just so you can feel me about it.
Yeah.
And then when you watch the rest, you'll be fucking blown away.
Well, I think if they watch it, if for people who haven't seen it, if they watch the second season first, I think they're gonna be like, "Wow, this is a really good show."
Yeah.
You know, for like the general audience.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Oh, this was actually a really good show," and then see season 1 next, blown away. Now, when they announced season 3, I was kind of like whatever about it because of my reaction to season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, whatever. But then they announced who was gonna be starring in it. Now I'm probably gonna fuck up his name.
Deacon Frost.
Well, yeah, Brad Dourif's in it, but also Marshala Ali.
Marshall Ali.
I can't pronounce his name properly. But
Who
it's from Moonlight.
he was in Moonlight.
He was in Moonlight. He was in Luke Cage first season. He was Cottonmouth, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And he was also Uncle Aaron in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That's right. He was. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And
Man, this guy is definitely a force. He is such a great actor.
Definitely. He was also one of the villains in Alita: Battle Angel.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, well deserved Oscar for Moonlight.
Yes.
Because this guy can make you feel a certain way by just sitting in a room with you. His his performance is like he's so good at being so unemotional in this.
Yeah.
Yet subtly making you feel what he feels.
Yeah, so with this third season, they kind of returned to form with the whole only 2 main characters.
Yeah, and the whole timeline thing.
Yeah, and the whole jumping through timelines. And again, the same thing. They don't put the text on the screen 10 years ago or present day. They do such a good job of making it obvious that it's a different time period. But so basically he plays this detective. Him and his partner, played by Brad Dourif, play the detectives who are investigating a case of missing children. And man, this season definitely went back to the greatness of season 1, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. I would say that this is right next to season 1 for me. I wouldn't say even... I would say right next to it. I wouldn't even say it's better or worse than season 1.
It's an equal.
It stands shoulder to shoulder to me.
Definitely. Very deserving of the True Detective title.
Yeah, I felt the same way as you did. I was pretty skeptical on this one. I was kind of no True Detective season. That's cool. I'll probably watch it. His name's Stephen Dorff.
Stephen Dorff.
Yeah, that was
Brad Dourif is fucking Chucky.
Yeah, that was fucking bugging me. I don't want people to come in there thinking that they're gonna see Chucky. It was bugging me, dude. I had to find out. But yeah, it's Stephen Dorff.
Stephen Dorff.
And
Deacon Frost.
Yeah. And Marshall Ali.
Yeah.
And but yeah, this third season, it caught me by surprise because of how the second season went.
Yeah.
But man, definitely worth a rewatch.
The third season.
Yeah.
It was really good, man. Just
the story alone, because of
the missing children.
Yeah, it's the missing children, and then
It's just, it does a good job of making you suspect everyone, even the parents. Dude.
Yeah, kind of like in the first season where you're just kind of was it this dude or that dude, and you never know.
Yeah.
Until the end, where it was it was right in fucking front of me, dude. It was right in front of me.
Dude, that ending where he finds her, goes to her
Oh,
house.
we're going straight to the ending.
Fuck it.
Well, let's get into more detail about these characters
Okay.
before we do that.
Okay.
Or else people are gonna be like, huh? But these two characters, Marshall Lee and Steven Dorff, um, in the first episode, you catch them just chilling, like just hanging out. Um, and you could tell, they've been doing this for a while, and they have like a lot of respect for each other, and like I would say they're even friends. Like they're even like close enough to be considered friends. Like
Yeah, like their relationship isn't like Woody Harrelson and
yeah,
Matthew
and like
McConaughey's
they're
character.
kind of like in the same lifestyle where they're like these single guys where they're just kind of going through it and barely getting by,
Yeah.
and they're detectives trying to figure things out, but it's like they don't really care. They're kind of just like, I mean, even as soon as they get the call about the missing children, they even throw a comment out where it's kind of like, we almost went through another night without something going on. Oh well, let's go check
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah.
They're like those characters. But like I said, you could tell like they've been doing this, and like they're not like any of the other characters that have been introduced to us by the other seasons, where it's kind of like they're not friends. They're kind of just getting introduced. Like these guys are already friends.
Yeah.
They already have that relationship going on, and like um before that, there's this household, where it's like these two kids and like this dad's hanging out, fixing his car, like typical redneck dude with like his NASA hat,
Yeah.
bumping the music loud, like drinking a beer while he's fixing his Hemi, and then like his two children, they're kind of like, oh, we're taking off, Dad, like, like,
Well, because they told their dad they're gonna one of their friends got a new puppy
yeah,
and they want to go
and
play
like
with it.
and like typical dad response, like, all right, be back before dark,
Yeah.
and like they don't come back,
Yeah.
you know,
And then like they go to ask the kid
yeah,
where they were supposed to be going. They're like, no, they never came.
and like the writers and the director kind of do this thing where they kind of start giving you hints when the kids leave.
Yeah.
Because these kids are riding through their neighborhood.
Oh yeah, and it starts showing
and
people.
their neighborhood is filled with like these characters that like you can't tell if they're good or bad, and you can't tell if they're just like they're gonna be it.
Yeah.
They're gonna be the guy,
Yeah, like when they ride by the teenagers,
Yeah.
or no, they don't they like almost run them over or something.
No, they're just strolling by.
Oh, okay.
But they like because the teenagers are like parked in like this purple buggy, and like they're giving them dirty looks, like typical like I don't like you, nerd.
Yeah.
I listen to metal. I don't fucking like you. And then like they pass by like some some of the other residents where they're like you can tell they're familiar with them. They're like hi, like just passing by, like
Yeah.
watering my yard.
And then that Native American
the
guy
Native
who
American
collects
character,
trash.
yeah, who's kind of like a scavenger, and that's how he makes a living.
Yeah.
Who kind of gives him this look of like to me kind of came off like what are you doing right in the street?
Yeah.
Get out of the street. But nothing hostile,
Yeah.
But definitely like I'm concerned for your safety.
And then like even like later on when they go looking for the kids and they show like where the teenagers are hanging out, the main teenager, he's like he has the boy's bike.
Yeah, they start doing things like that too, where they show the characters doing things with like certain things, and it's kind of like, wait, was that didn't that belong to the kids?
Yeah.
Like what are you doing with that? They start doing things like that, which is like super dope because it's like it gets you so hooked in right away.
Yeah.
Because you're just kind of like, now I know who my players are.
Yeah.
And then like they disappear. They don't come back. Dad starts getting pissed, starts getting concerned, and then it begins.
Yeah.
The investigation for Steven Dorff and Marshall Lee.
And like the way Marshall Ali portrayed this detective, I believe his name Hayes, Detective Hayes.
Yeah.
So good at his job. Like he's such his character is known for being a tracker in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So like when they do like their search parties, he's like there's a scene where he's like going off on his own, and one of the adults asks Stephen Dorff's character, He's like, hey, like, where's your partner going? He's like, oh, don't worry, trust him.
Yeah, because they end up getting this like search party, and then Detective Hayes kind of like wanders off. You know, people start questioning like, "Oh, where the fuck is he going? Shit, help us!" And he's like, "He's going somewhere." Like he throws that line, like he's like, "If he starts wandering off, it's a good sign."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that means that he's on something. So you keep looking, you let him do his thing.
And see that also
Which is
shows.
like, yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was actually gonna comment on the fact that how it contrasts to the relationship with Woody Harrelson, and
Yes, exactly.
because like and Hayes and Dorv's character, his name's West, Detective West. They're so supportive of each other, you know.
Yeah, cause like, dude, they bag each other up so much.
Yeah.
Like even in that line where that citizen becomes concerned with Hayes like wandering off, he's like, leave him alone, dude.
Pretty much. Like,
I
hey,
know that
don't.
guy.
Yeah.
Like,
And
fuck off.
like it could have been so easy because of the time period it takes place. This first episode could have been so easy to make Detective West like subliminally racist.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but like, but they have this friendship. You know, they have this respect for each other, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Cause it's like I said, they're kind of in the same lifestyle where it's like they don't really they don't have wives, they don't have kids, but you can tell they're getting to the age where it's like they're starting to think about stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, where it's kind of like, you know, I kind of want to start a family. You know, kind of want to get married, but they're both in the same boat of like, I just want to chill, do my job.
Yeah, and like, and at the same time, they're not presented as unlikable characters. Like, they're actually legit likable characters,
Yeah, yeah,
which is pretty crazy to me because everybody, all the other characters, were in like previous seasons were shitty.
yeah. Like the dynamic between these two guys, like the chemistry is like,
It's like a genuine friendship.
yeah, it's so good. Like it was making me fucking emotional, dude. The way
Yeah,
they would interact with each other, because it was like being coworkers with your friend. You know,
yeah,
it's so tight.
yeah, and like you could they do reach like I guess you could say a breaking point when they accidentally kill that guy when they're trying to scare him in the woods. Remember?
Yeah,
And then, like they
yeah,
bury the body out there.
yeah. This is towards the end. This is getting closer to the climax of the story, but this character we'll talk about more in a bit. But yeah, you're right. Like that kind of like you have to back him up no matter what, dude.
Yeah,
You know, cause like you could tell one of them fucked up. You can tell he wants to be like, he's so enraged with his decision that he's kind of like, dude, if you weren't my friend, I'd fuck you up right now.
yeah,
But since you're like basically my best friend, I'm gonna back you up.
yeah.
You know?
But yeah, just their whole dynamic was so good. And I mean, this is probably the best performance from Steven Dorff I've ever seen.
I honestly can say that I haven't seen him in anything else besides Blade.
I think you're right. I don't think I've seen him in anything else besides Blade
Yeah,
either.
he wasn't really someone I was paying attention to until now.
That's true.
So I mean,
He was really good in this.
yeah,
It almost makes me curious what else he's done.
yeah. Like I kind of want to. I hope I don't look up like his fucking like IMDb profile and like
It's a bunch of shit.
I find out he's a bunch of rom coms.
Hey, I like romantic comedies.
I don't.
But yeah, like their dynamic was so good, and man, Hayes is such a sympathetic character because basically he's being interviewed, and he's telling the story of this case,
Yeah,
and the way he acts as like an older man felt so real.
yeah, because he gets interviewed in like both of his lifetimes.
Yeah,
You know, one where he's kind of like a veteran in like the detective field, and then one where he's kind of just a retired old man.
yeah,
You know, like, cause I mean, for some reason, this case of like these missing children keeps coming up in his life. Like it won't leave him alone. Like it was such an impact in that town and on his life that it just keeps coming back, even when he's a wrinkly old man.
yeah,
You know, people want to know.
yeah. But it's because like, as much as people keep looking into the case, they're finding all these holes.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you question this person, or why didn't you
Yeah, like
investigate
why
this?
didn't you look here? Why didn't you say that?
Yeah,
Why didn't you do this? You know, and it ends up being like, you know, I fucked up. I should have done that, but I didn't.
because there comes a point where they feel like they've solved it with the Native American guy.
Yeah, cause like in the beginning, when they're looking for these kids, they start finding all these things that could lead to, like, clues leading to other clues, and, like, questions that come with another question. And then all of a sudden it gets easy.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of going through through this checklist of characters that might do it, and they start crossing off names, and it gets to the point where they get to the Native American man, and he's it.
Yeah.
Or so they think.
And just the whole situation of it is fucked up because he gets tracked down by the local people and they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, the locals are like, like I said, they're kind of like the father of these missing children. Like typical, like, ignorant rednecks. Like kind of unaccepting of people of color. Like they like kind of like, get off my property.
Yeah.
Like typical, like, dude like that, I guess.
Yeah, but they pretty much like run him off the road and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So he like fucking prepares for them again because
yeah.
they go to his house.
Yeah, because I mean he knows that this isn't gonna stop.
Yeah.
And it doesn't when you're like someone like that, like a minority. Like, it doesn't stop, dude.
Yeah.
Like people keep going and going until they break you, which is unfortunately what happened to him.
Yeah, he ends up having a shootout with them, and then ends up involving the cops. And he like kills a couple cops.
Because he knows, like, this is the end of the line.
Yeah.
I have to do what I have to do now. And like.
And that scene when Hayes has him, and tells him like, don't do it.
Yeah. That like I think that was the first time he killed, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, where he's kind of like, he's not begging him, but he's letting him know in an assertive way, like, I might have to kill you, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
If you don't stop. And like the dialogue between them, where the Native American is like really respectful towards this person who's about to kill him.
Yeah.
And lets him know, like, I'm counting to 3 in my head. If you don't leave, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Hayes has to pull the trigger and murder this man who was just treated the wrong way.
Yeah.
By all sides.
He was fed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in the aftermath of it, they end up finding one of the kids' backpacks and under his porch.
Yeah.
So they believe like they solved it.
Yeah. So case closed.
Yeah.
Or so they think.
Yeah. And
like it's like, well, now we know who did it.
But yeah, like I mean, further investigation reveals, well, actually, Hayes, he notices that like, why was the backpack so fucking clean?
Yeah. Like why? It feels like it was planted there, basically.
Yeah.
He knows it.
Because it actually wasn't found until wasn't a few days after or the day after.
Yeah, when
they
were just digging through his stuff.
Yeah.
And then case closed for now.
Yeah.
And then it gets reopened a little further down the line after Hayes kind of goes through like this, jobless period in his life where like his wife's the breadwinner and he kind of feels like undignified because of his position in life. And then Dorf's character out of nowhere, he's now like this top gun who can hire whoever the fuck he wants. And I mean, who else better to hire than your best friend?
Yeah.
Who was like a fucking better detective than you.
Yeah.
Like, so he approaches him and he's like, I want you to come work for me because I think you're the shit, and you're my friend.
Yeah.
So he kind of recruits him, and they reopen the case because they know that there was something else sketchy going on. And that's when they start finding the true outcome of what really happened to these two kids.
We actually failed to mention that they did during the search party.
Oh yeah, they found
the boy,
but unfortunately he was dead.
Yeah. But the way they found him, he was had like prayer hands.
Yeah, he had his hands in like ritual contrition, like he was laid down very gently.
It was in a cave, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was in a cave in the forest. And they found these other things like dolls made out of hay and like straw and like.
Again, looked very ritualistic.
Yeah, it looked very ritualistic.
And while they were looking into all this type of stuff, that's when they made the connection to season 1 because they mentioned Rust.
Yeah, because they mentioned the pedophile ring that they discovered.
Yeah.
Because they think that this might be a connection to this case because of the kids missing.
Yeah.
Because of the girl missing now. Because it is now confirmed in this further timeline that she has been found shoplifting.
Oh, that's right.
In a store.
Yeah.
So now this case is reopened for that reason. Now they have to find this girl. Now they have to find out what exactly happened to this boy, and why are you running away? Why are you running away from us?
Yeah, like why don't you want to come back to your parents?
Yeah, why don't you want to do this? You know. And it gets really, really emotional, you know, because it's like
they start uncovering a lot of shit.
They start connecting dots that it's like, oh, this is getting weird.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the father comes in the picture, and he's kind of like, who is that? Who is that girl? You know, it's like, is that my daughter? You know, like, she's grown now. Like, such an emotional thing because, I mean, being a detective, you don't want to let someone like that know that this is
possibly
this is possible.
Yeah.
Because, like, they kind of come to the realization that I don't want to give this person hope because hope is so dangerous to a sad man.
Exactly.
You know, it can drive a person crazy.
Especially one who's a recovering alcoholic because at this point he's sober.
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe like found God.
Yeah. So he's really done good for himself.
Yeah.
But there is this major sadness in him of like, I didn't protect my daughter and I didn't see her. I didn't save her, you know.
Yeah.
And my son's gone. And now I think my daughter's around. Like dude, I'd freak out just like he did.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, you just want to get things confirmed for you.
But yeah, just a whole bunch of shit happens, and he ends up actually being investigated, becoming a suspect.
Yeah, he ends up like, because of some things in the house that they found. You know, they found a peephole in the closet to the little girl's room, which they think it's either the uncle or the dad. And then the uncle ends up being like a piece of shit, but he wasn't a pedophile. He was just a piece of shit. He was just a drug addict.
Yeah.
You know? And then, this is the point where I would say the opposing force starts finding out what the detectives are finding out. And that's when they start retaliating with the deaths of the uncle.
Yeah.
They kill the uncle. They kill the dad. They start retaliating where it's like, you're getting closer to her and I don't want you to get closer to her. So I'm gonna, like, delete all your sources.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill the dad. Make sure you don't question him. I'm gonna kill the uncle. Make sure you question him. I'm gonna kill anybody else. I'm gonna kill the mom. You know? Because it to me, it ends up being these two forces. The detective agency and the family. I forgot the name. The name of the family that ends up keeping the girl.
I don't remember. I don't remember their name.
But it's this detective agency versus like this home of like people.
Yeah.
Who, in a way, they kind of don't see that's really that's such an easy thing to.
Are you talking about like the home that she was in?
Yeah.
Like that girl's home or whatever?
No. Not that. Before that. When they find out that the family tried to keep the girl because of the daughter that she had lost.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was like, which was like
I said. That's when it shows what happened to the little boy, right?
Yeah. Because, Michael Rooker's character, he ends up, like, being in this season, but he represents the opposing force that I'm trying to say for, the Hoyt family. Because to me, it gets to the point where it's like the Hoyt family versus the detectives. Isn't
that also the same name of the family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Really?
I think so.
Oh, shit. Interesting. But it ends up being the forces going against each other. The Hoyts versus the detectives. Or it's like they're both finding this girl and they both have different intentions.
Yeah.
And they have to beat each other to the punch, you know?
Well, I don't want to talk about the ending of this one either, just because it's more recent.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I want to let people
Yeah,
see it.
but to keep it under wraps, then I would say that there's a pretty nice. This is probably the nicest ending to this True Detective show.
Series.
Yeah, series. Like,
Yeah, it definitely was.
yeah, because to me, like, oh, dude, it was such a satisfying ending.
Yeah.
You know, but to kind of retract, because I want to emphasize more on the relationship between Marsha Ali and Steven Dorff's character.
Yeah.
Um, you know, they end up finding these things about the Hoyt family, and you know, they kind of start coming to a realization. And it gets to the point where it's like you kind of have to quit because it's it's starting to like it's starting to bug people, you know.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point. It gets to the third timeline where they're both like wrinkly old men, and to me that timeline is like the defining moment for their friendship, you know.
Definitely.
Because they both have drifted apart for many years, and now they're reuniting to finally close this case, you know. And like, to me, it was such a satisfying ending to that relationship.
Yeah.
For them, because like they end up being like brothers, dude. Again, like season 1, they end up coming to the realization of like, you know, I I am so heartbroken because of what you did to me, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm so happy that you're my brother again, you know.
Definitely.
Very satisfying, and a very satisfying ending. Very nice. It's actually heartwarming.
Yeah, it was very good. I mean, this whole series is just so good. Even the second season, like overall, it's such a great series. Great performances, you know.
Yeah.
I would even say they're like long movies, if anything, especially for the first and third season.
Yeah.
They're pretty much 8-hour movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I highly suggest checking them out on HBO. And I'm not sure if there's gonna be a fourth season. Have they announced that yet? Do you know?
No, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Really?
Yeah. Not because I don't hate it. It's just I don't want them to rush anything. You know.
Okay, so I actually just found something that says, as of January 2019, Nick Pizzolatto, which is the creator of the show,
Mhm.
it says Pizzolatto was developing a storyline for a potential fourth season. However, in April, he abandoned that storyline, saving it for another series or film, and working on a new storyline that he had discussed with an undisclosed actor. So they do plan on doing a fourth season.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So I guess we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. But definitely watch this show as well.
It's very captivating.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Again, cinematography was great in this one as well.
And the writing. Writing was.
Dude, these writers are fucking geniuses, dude.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, the combination of the writing with the performances of Marshall Ali and Steven Dorff
Yeah.
is just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect pairing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I highly suggest watching the shows.
Yeah.
Do you have any like last thoughts on everything we've talked about?
Yeah. This episode came up because of Fidel's question to me, which was like, "Oh, what do you want the next one to be?" And I asked myself, what do I think is the 3 most important shows today that I think are raising the bar and changing a lot?
Yeah.
Like changing the game.
Especially for TV.
Yeah. And I picked these 3 shows. I picked Love, Death, and Robots, True Detective, and The Night Of, because I think they're very important shows, and I think they're very entertaining, and they're not disrespectful. And when I say that because when I watch something, when I pick to watch something, I don't want the director or the writers to disrespect me. I don't want them to spoon feed me. I don't want them to treat me dumb.
Yeah.
I want them to write things that intrigue me and make me invest and keep me connected very closely to whatever is on the screen. And I decided these 3 shows that I picked are very important nowadays, and I can't stress to whoever's listening to just go when you have time. I mean, put in the hours to see these shows, because I mean, they're that good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially in this age of like how prominent TV has become, how cinematic TV has become.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, back then, you hear an actor's went from doing a movie to a TV show, it almost seemed like a demotion. It almost seemed like,
Yeah.
oh really? Like you're on TV now? Like,
Yeah, it's like,
is that how bad your career is going?
Yeah.
But it's almost shifted. It's almost like,
now it's like they're looking for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in order to, I guess, maintain that successful title, it's like you got to do a show now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's when you know you've made it, is when you do a show.
Mm-hmm.
And like with streaming services becoming so prominent now, there's so many more options with creativity and making these ideas come to life.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
definitely check out all 3 of these shows. Very good shows. And Night of, True Detective, HBO series, and HBO always knocks it out of the park in my opinion with their TV shows. They have such great content on that streaming service. If you're not a subscriber to HBO, I suggest becoming one, because they have so much good content. And Love, Death, and Robots again also on Netflix, and Netflix again upping their game with the type of content they've been releasing. I mean, they release some shit as well, but for the most part, they release a lot of heavy hitters, and Love, Death, and Robots is definitely one of those. So I just check those out, and I want to say thank you to everyone for sticking around. This is a pretty long episode, and if you've reached this point, then thank you, sticking around.
Yeah, thanks.
Continuing to listen to us ramble on, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and keep listening. Let us know what you think. Yeah, we're pretty much on every platform.
Yeah, just follow us. I mean, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
Find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcast, you name it.
Yeah.
We're on there. But yeah, just again, thank you so much, and look for the next episode.
Thanks, guys.